in my heart, where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Yes, yes, yes. You are welcome here. You are welcome to the house of love, the house of transformation. You know, some of you know that I do the show the first and the third Tuesday of the month up until, well, we'll go back to weekly next year in January. But this first and third week of the month, first and third Tuesday of the month, it's like I'm starting something for the first time. But I can get to it. I can get in it. It's like riding a bicycle, right? It's in my bones. Excuse me, for those of you on YouTube and Facebook. I had pizza I think that had something to do with me having to clear my voice. I do that often anyway, not as much as today, but it's a bad move. But I was just craving pizza. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you, wherever you are in the world right now. What are you doing? What are you feeling? Feel free to share it or just check in. Check in with yourself and see what you're feeling. Are you excited? Are you sad? Are you in pain? Are you grateful? Are you grumbling? Are you joyful or being judgmental? Wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through and growing through, thank you for taking the time to tune in to yourself first, because that's very, very important. And as you tune in, you listen. When you listen, you create the space and the place for transformation. I am Ade. I am your transformational beingness artist. I got to figure out of having all my screens so I don't have to keep doing this. But in the meantime, I'm grateful for having all these devices to be able to be on more platforms. So yes, I am your transformational beingness artist. And I welcome you to another episode of Ade Presents. Being You, the podcast, is the journey back to yourself. And this is a time of the show where I invite you to take an affirmation, to connect, to listen, to remind yourself of what is true. Remind yourself that you're present. So the affirmation is, I am present. I am here. I am now. I am present. I am here. I am now. I am present. I am here. I am now. You say those words, you allow it to sink into your heart. It grounds you. It will focus you. It will remind you of what is true. Those are power statements. They're not statements that you want to be real. You're hoping it will be real. You're present right here. You're present. Now, your mind may be going all over the place, but the minute you say, I am present, you're bringing yourself to this present moment. When you say, I am here, you're reminding yourself of the idea that, okay, my mind was rushing over there, it was over there, it was doing this, but now I'm back. And in this nowness, you get to remind yourself that you are now, which is where God is, which is where the divine is, right now, right here. And when you remember that you are now, you remember that you are one with God, that you are guided by God, that you are inspired as God, through God, by God. Hey, Kwali, nice to see you, my dear sister. The Being You podcast is an invitation. And I need to tell you as well, because I've almost forgot. This is season 3, episode 33. And today's Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. So this would be the finale of the season. Because every show, well, actually, since season 2, 3, and well, we're now season 3. Okay, so 2 and 3, the total episodes is 33. However, because I'm going to take a break, I'm going to do one more show and just to wrap it up with the journey from 2020. So the third Tuesday of this month, December, which is the 21st, I will be here to wrap up the season. So this season will be 34. Doesn't matter because we're making it up, right? We're the one creating our reality. It is kind of cold. Well, not kind of cold. It's very cold. And I got some, oopsie daisy. I got a heater that's kind of not doing what it needs to do. Woo! So being you is an invitation for you to tune into yourself, to check in with yourself, to ask yourself deeper questions. When you ask yourself deeper questions, you make yourself available for answers that will transform you, will transform the way you think. It will change the way you think. Change, transform. You can change it or transform it. Transformation is what we're shooting for, but change is good. You want to ask yourself, how do I see myself? How do you see yourself? Like, really, honestly, just when you drop into the heart, not trying to be positive, trying to be spiritual, honestly, sincerely, authentically, intentionally, oh, Elise, how do you see yourself? How do you see the world? Like, do you honestly see the world as a safe place? Now, I know sometimes you can see it as a safe place. Sometimes you can see it as from a scary place. But in this moment, how do you see it? How do you see yourself in the world? This world that you're looking at, how do you see yourself in it? And how do you see the world in you? That's the invitation. That's the question that is important to ask yourself on a regular basis. The topic, the theme for today is possibility consciousness. What is possible when you understand, when you recognize that you are consciousness and life is consciousness and everything is consciousness? What is possible for you? I want to invite you to join us on our main page on Facebook, which is the Being You podcast page, facebook.com/Being You podcast. Go there, follow, share, like. What is it? Yeah, like and share on Facebook. You follow on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, as you can find me on youtube.com/LC radio. That was from back in the day when we had Live Conversations Radio, which was supposed to come back. And then life shifted. I was close to signing the agreement. Things changed, and then the pandemic hit, and it was like, let's do this differently. But, whether you call this a podcast, a show, a radio show, it really doesn't matter. What's important is that the word is getting out, that we get a place to honor one another, to honor ourselves. And that I'm grateful for. So as I said earlier, back in January 2022, I will be back to doing the show on a weekly basis. I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited about that. I had to just take it down a bit because there was so much going on. Anyway, let me tell you about some announcements. Note to self, never eat pizza before a show. Or anything cheesy. And for those of you saying, well, why are you even eating cheese in the first place? Well, guess what? I am a meat-eating vegetarian and a vegan with options. So I get to experiment. So let me tell you about some announcements. For those of you who are maybe next year, you are coming to that place where you feel like, I want to do something different. I have a message. I have a voice. And you've been flirting with the idea of having a podcast. Or maybe you have a podcast, but you're looking for a website hosting site. I want to share Libsyn with you. Libsyn is a site that I use. I've been using it for almost 3 years now. And check it out, see what they're offering. And if you do decide to sign up, make sure you sign up using my promo code that I'm giving you. And because I'm giving you a promo code, you get some freeness. You might get 2 months free, depends on when you sign up. The promo code is ADE. If you sign up without using that, you get jack blank. But if you sign up, today is the 15th. If you sign up today, just for example, because it's kind of tricky, but it's not. It's quite simple, actually. If you sign up today, you get the rest of December free. Wait a minute. Today's not the 15th. I looked at the time. Today is the 7th. If you sign up today, the 7th, you get You get the whole of December free and the whole of January. If you sign up, say like on the 25th of December, you get the rest of December free and the whole of January. Whatever you do, do not sign up on the first of any month because you might just get few hours. Make sure you use the promo code ADE, ADE. The website address is libsyn.com, LIBSYN.com. Friday morning for me. You can join Ricky Byers and myself every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 2 a.m. UK time for Soul Fulfilling. Ricky and I, we get together and we just allow Spirit to do what Spirit does through us. It is a prayer sanctuary. It's a place where, because the way we do the show is slightly different from how I do it here. The difference is, one, I'm talking to somebody in a different way. I'm not interviewing. Like today, I'm not really interviewing Rev D. She's going to join us. But there's something about it that's so different. And it's a place to just hold the high watch. That's every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 2 a.m. UK time. There's always a lot going on. So I invite you to sign my mailing list. Ade. No, that's not it. lifecoachade.com. lifecoachade.com. Sign my mailing list there. And I'm just going to whisper this. I'm creating a new website. I'm using a platform that I've always wanted to, but I was too afraid. But I found organization company, a lady who has this perfect package that you can get WordPress, and she gives so much help. So I'm slowly building it. Which would change my website. I'll be able to do some of the things that I've been thinking about for a long time, but I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver. I'm just going to underpromise and overdeliver. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And announcements. What else do I want to tell you? I want to tell you, yes, I've been doing some cleaning up. And I am happy about the cleaning up that I'm doing. And the cleaning up has brought me to a place where I can happily share this with you. So I've been hearing people have been telling me for years. I'm telling you, I mean years. Why? Hey, Chinu, how are you doing, my dear sister? Good morning to you. Why don't you promote your Cash App and your PayPal for people to donate to you? You do such amazing work. I want to know how to send money to you. I had a friend. She's like, I've been telling you this. I gave it to her. And before we even finished, I was on WhatsApp. Before I finished the conversation, she dropped some money. She said, dude, somebody else said the same thing about 3 weeks ago. So there's some things I needed to clear up and clear out and see and ask to make sure I can do it. Well, guess what? Opening the doors to financial abundance. I know a lot of you been itching. Like if he has PayPal or Cash App, I definitely would donate to him. I just don't even understand why he doesn't. I do, but we just needed to get some things. So if you are in America, I got a Cash App. It's $Life Conversations. Life Conversations. For those of you in UK, it is the pound size. Oh God. I was thinking pound and how people in America may think of pound, and that my mind moves ahead too fast sometimes. If you're in the UK, and you can use either one really in the UK, because some people in America use the Cash App in the UK and they were able to make the donation. But some people have said it's not going through. So if you're in America, it's $Life Conversations. And for those of you in UK, it is UK pound, the pound sign, Life Coach Ade, Life Coach ADE. And on PayPal, it's I didn't type that right. I'm gonna have them posted it. PayPal.me/Life Conversations. I am going to post that. I don't know if we'll post on Facebook. I know it's posting on it did. It posted on the Being You page. So what I'm going to do is just kind of highlight that so you can see that. And Kwali is reminding us to take that affirmation. I am present, I am here, I am now. So here, it's all kind of close together, but you can figure it out. $ life conversations or pound sign life coach Ade or paypal.me/life conversations. I'm going to get it together. And then actually I'm going to split this so that's a lot easier to read. That's kind of confusing. But if you're looking at the screen, you can figure it out. If you type all of that in, then I can't really help you. You should know better than that. All right. What else do I want to share as we prepare for Rev D? I want to say this. I was in the shower. Was it in the shower? I think I was in the shower. Some people call that TMI. I don't care. I get a lot of inspiration in the shower. And it occurred to me that a lot of us have been praying incorrectly. We've been praying wrong. We've been asking for the wrong thing. And we beat ourselves up because we're not receiving the answer. Hello, New Jace, my dear sister. Nice to see you. Aren't you grateful for your calendar? We beat ourselves up because we've been praying the wrong prayer. We've been praying a prayer that cannot be answered. It cannot be answered. Here's the prayer. The prayer of asking God to know and understand love. The prayer to be, to ask to be wealthy. To ask to be loved. When you pray and ask to be brilliant, to be magnificent, to be peaceful. When you're asking for it to happen, is what I'm really pointing. There's a slight distinction here. When you're asking for it to happen, when you're asking God to help you in actualizing that, it's the wrong prayer. It's the wrong prayer. Not wrong as in something is bad, but it's a prayer that is kind of redundant. Why is it redundant? It's because you are already that. We don't need to pray to be worthy. We don't need to pray to be loving, to be love. I get that we have to affirm it, but this is taking that a new way of thinking, taking to the next step, recognizing that God as love is one with you. So to ask to be love, it's like asking your parents, am I your daughter? Am I your son? I wish God will make me your son. I pray that God will make me your daughter. Or you walk around telling people, my name is Ade, my name is Kwali, my name is Jackie, my name is Ashley. You know, like people that you know is what I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay. When you know, when you accept, when you embrace the idea that you are one with God, you are already wealthy. Slow down. Don't go to the intellect yet. You're already wealthy. You're already loved. You're already beautiful. You're already worthy. You already matter. Period. Just because you exist. The God in you as you is that in you. So if there's any prayer that you want to pray around that, you could pray to be an opening for the love that you are, for the wealth that you are. And you're not even asking for, you can, but you can just declare, I am an open channel for love to express. I am an open channel for more wealth to flow through. I am the love that I seek. I am the love that I seek. I am the peace that I desire. I am it. I am it. And when I know that I am it, oh, I see possibility. I see a new way of looking at myself. I see a new way of looking at life. And you know what's so special about you, about me, about us? Is you are, I was talking to Ashley about this on Instagram, on my life coach Ade account, because I got two of them going now, Being You podcast account. That our stories is what's going to heal us. It's the stories that oftentimes we don't want to share. Those are the stories that bring about healing, not for others, but for you. When you have a story, and I want to ask, hopefully I remember to ask this question, because Rev D spoke to this 2 weeks ago at her spiritual center. If you are not sharing your story because you're feeling a sense of shame, that means that story needs to be told. But before you tell the story, get real about the shame that you have about the story. Life is nothing but a continuous story. It's a never-ending story. Life is a conversation. That's how Ambassador and I came up with life conversation for our business. Well, back then, it's now different. We're still friends, we're still close, but it's different now. But anyway, whole different conversation. We were just talking and we said, but life is a conversation. And the conversation you're having determines, for the most part, where you put your attention. Your consciousness is really what determines where you put your focus, because the words you speak are simply expressions of your thoughts, expressions of your consciousness. So when you tell your story, however you do that, you do it by writing a book, having a podcast, having a show, having a Facebook Live. Not telling a story just for the sake of telling a story. I want to tell a story because I want to be healed. No, that's not it. It's a different kind of consciousness. And I don't need to say this because I know. But somebody might think, okay, I just go there and tell a story. Now, if you do that too, God wastes nothing. If you just get on social media telling a story just because you think I want to be healed, God will use that too. The divine will use that. Whew. What I will say, when you want to share your story, whether it's on social media or personal media or with family media, remember who you are. Remember that you are one with the one. You're one with the divine. You're one with truth. You're present. You're here. You're now. You are already loved. You're already worthy. It doesn't matter what happened in your life. And the things that cause you pain, that cause you struggle, that you've struggled with, those experiences is what allows your story to hook other people. Because when you find the courage, when you can step into being brave and tell a story that you were once afraid to tell, somebody's going to hear it and they will be liberated by your story. They will be liberated by your story. All we're looking for is just affirmation. We are the affirmation, but at the end, there is something about seeing somebody else reflecting what we already know. You can tell a story as a parent. You can tell a story as a teacher. You can tell a story without using your mouth, just your presence. You can tell your story as an artist, as a writer. And the stories you don't want to tell is probably the stories that the world needs to hear. And too often when we don't tell our stories, we create separation. And we make up a story about other people's story, and call them bad and evil. And then we choose labels. I'm a conservative, I'm a liberal, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, I belong to the Labour Party, I'm a conservative, I'm a whatever the other parties in Nigeria. There's all this. Oh my God. If you give yourself a chance to really just watch the news from different parts, if you go on YouTube, look at news from different parts of the world, not just where you live, you will have a reality check. When I go to London, my father always has for the most part, has it a Nigerian channel where they're often telling the news, or is all news most of the time. And I'm like, oh my God. Because when I'm home, I don't have a TV. I don't have a TV, so I can't turn it on. But I listen. I learned some things about Nigeria that I didn't know. I learned things about other countries because the news in Nigeria and other parts of the world, they talk about what's going on in their country. They talk about what's going on in other people's country. Malawi, Zimbabwe, America. They tell the story. What's going on in China. In UK is often what's happening in UK. UK is a little bit more global too. In America, it's just what's going on in America. And every now and then you get a little story about an earthquake or a cloud storm or something in other countries. And even when we don't watch the news, other people are watching it, telling us what's going on. And it's so easy to believe that some of the craziness that we see is only happening where we are. But when you recognize, when you see, when you learn that craziness is universal, then you realize people are people wherever you go. You get to tell a new story. When I listen to politicians of other countries, it's the same thing. They're saying the same thing politicians in America are saying, politicians here are saying. They're all come and say, well, we're really looking into this and we're doing some research and investigating what happens. And because it's time, the people of UK, they need to stick together, and the American citizens need to stick together, and we Nigerians are sticking together because we're strong. Everybody's saying the same thing. But sometimes they're not really dealing with the real thing. I don't even know why I'm telling this story because I wasn't planning to tell this story, but I'm talking about stories. For me, it got very clear that the idea of trying to change the world, it's a great idea, but you have a better chance of changing the world if you change you. And you change you by being open, by being present, and allowing your existence to speak louder than your words, your presence to speak louder than your words. And your presence become a story. And get this, your story, your life, your life is a unique way in which God is telling a story. Your life, whether you like your life or not, whether you think there's been more struggle, less serenity, if you will, trying to do an S thing over there. Your life is a unique way in which God is expressing itself. Just breathe that in. Think of when you've gone to a movie, you watch a film, you read a book, you heard other people's story, you watch a documentary. A documentary, sometimes people don't often say that's a good documentary. I mean, it's good depending on what the context is, but if it's about somebody's life, we're touched, we're moved. In movies, when we go watch it, it's like there's all this up and down, ups and downs. Twists and turns. Sometimes the movies where we're scared shitless is when we go, oh my God, that was a lot. But it was good. It was good because sometimes we do get our fix from how we get ourselves riled up emotionally. So the same thing is true for your life. There are parts of your life where God is having this story expressing itself, and you're like, oh my God, am I ever going to get through this? Oh my God, what's going on in the world? Oh my God, the earth is going to the shits. Oh my God, people are just so mean. Oh my God, racism is going to be here forever. Oh my God, gender-based violence. Yes, those things are happening. And there's a flip side. There's a flip side. You know, we live in a country, in a world where most of the countries are talking about gender-based violence. And yet we keep putting out violent movies, shootings and killings, and women being abused, kids being abused, men being abused. But we keep saying nobody has the right to put hands on another human being. We keep sending people to war, to fight, to kill, to hang, to behead. Nobody has the right to put their hands on somebody else. Shut the flip up. And whoever that is for. We gotta be responsible for what we are allowing ourselves to get involved in, what we're putting our attention, where we're putting our attention. It's a story that we're being told. Whether you say verbally or you think it, you're still telling a story. And still, however you tell the story, it is God is telling a story in a unique way through you. So you're nothing more than a bunch of stories. And when you change your stories, you change the way you see yourself. And when I even say that, I'm not even saying that what happened is irrelevant. I'm not saying that. There is a place in consciousness where you gotta get there when you get there, but to remember that you are part of something greater, that you are a spiritual being, that there is a part of you that is not bothered by, I need to check my phone now. Namaskar, my brother. How are you doing, William? It's nice to see you. If they should be here, I've just been in. Let me see. Oh, okay. I think she sent me a text. Oh, okay. She's running a little late. She'll be here. I just saw that. Okay, great. So there is a part of you that is not bothered by injustice, that is not bothered by greed, abuse of power, pharmaceutical companies trying to sell BS. There is a part of you that is just present. There is a part of you that is always reminding you that you are love, that you are worthy, that you are valuable, and you make a difference. There's a part of you that's always whispering that. In fact, it's radiating it. If you don't hear it, doesn't mean it's not broadcasting. It just means you need to get still long enough. And the long enough could be just for 30 seconds. If you don't do anything, if you don't have a spiritual practice, I'll be surprised if any of you that listen to me don't have a spiritual practice. Oh, you can learn so much simply by just being still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am is God. Be still and know that I am. I am. I am. I am present. I am here. I am now. I am love. I am beauty. I am worthy. I am whole. I am complete. I am authentic. I am one with the one. If you take 30 seconds to do that, I don't care how busy I'm not interested. I can't meditate because every time I sit still, fine. Okay, you get to choose. But the more, this is nothing new. I'm only amplifying what you already know. So this is more of a reminder. Sometimes we spend more time focusing on what we think we are not, what we think is a problem, that so much so that we miss who we are, that we miss our greatness. So life is saying, here you go. Here's your answered prayer. Here you go. This is happening. My goodness, think about your life right now. Some of the things that you're experiencing in this moment was once a dream. The things that you're experiencing right now was once something, was an idea, was a vision, was a hope that one day I would have a relationship with the divine. One day I will have a tribe where people understand me. One day it was once an idea that you were saying, I'm not there yet. And now you are there. And sometimes we get to this one day, today, and then we start looking at tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be better. No, right here. Right here. Appreciate, be thankful for the fact that today was once a dream. You are the future of your past. You are the future of your past. And the past, see air quotes, back then, if you want to measure it, last year, 10 years ago, that there was a place you wanted to be. And that you were there. Don't miss those things that we call the little things. Little things make a big difference. And they're not little. With all that's going on in the world, you're here today breathing, listening to the show, and getting ready to be upgraded, to go deep. Oof. If these in the house. Take a moment to just embrace this moment. Take a moment to breathe in and be grateful. Don't do it because I'm saying doing it. Do it because your heart is tapping you like you have what you need right now. Check out that possibility. Let me jump in. Rev D's here. I'm ready to have Rev D. I'm ready to fly high. My wings, I'm going to take my wings off. When Rev D and I get together, we don't even need wings. We just levitate at will. We just make it happen. And you're going to levitate too because you're here by default. You know, JC said, if I be lifted up. And he also said, where two or more gather in my name, whoo-wee. Okay, I'm good now. I just need to smoke a cigarette. I'm good. You talk about spiritual orgasm. Let me tell you a little something about Rev D. Reverend Deborah L. Johnson is a lifelong social justice activist with a passion for healing social, political, and cultural divides. You've heard me read that many times, but I want you to hear it. She has a passion for healing social, political, and cultural divides. She's been doing this way before people could spell the word woke. She woke up like this. She is known for her ability to bring clarity, civility, and humor to complex and emotionally charged issues. Wherever she goes, her message is oneness, inclusion, possibility, empowerment, transformation. Breathe that in. She is the founder of Inner Light Ministries, board member of the Pachamama Alliance, and founding member with Michael Bernard Beckwith of Agape International Spiritual Center. She is the author of The Sacred Yes and Your Deepest Intent. And as always, I always tell you, get the books, get one. And if you want to go deeper about prosperity, that too, but possibility consciousness, pick up Your Deepest Intent. Page 35, I think, or 37. Actually, no, it's 29, page 29. To find out more about her, a website address is deborahLjohnson.org. You can find her on social media, Deborah L. Johnson. And I am excited to bring my sister, my mentor, my friend, my midwife to welcome her home, really. She's here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Rev D.
Hi.
Woo.
How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if you heard. I just need a cigarette right now. I'm good. You know, it's like I'm gonna call my job. I'm so well today, I ain't coming in. You mean you're sick? No. I am so well today, I ain't coming in. I'm feeling so good.
Well, I'm
you can't do that.
I'm feeling pretty doggone good myself.
Yes. So good to see you. How are you doing?
I am excellent. I have been on retreat for the past few days about my future. and where I'm going, and a team of people, and the new nonprofit that we're putting together to just take it all to a whole nother level.
How do you take this to another level? Woo, this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And I was glad that you suggested that we talk about possibility. And I apologize to everybody for being a few minutes late. I ran into some construction coming here to my center. Um, I like Joe Dispenza, and you often hear me refer to his works. And I believe he used the phrase something like, most of the time we're either repeating or like remembering our past, or we are rehearsing the future.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we're not being in this present moment.
Yes.
Okay. And possibility is in the present moment. Just everybody sink that in. Possibility is in the present moment. Possibility is not in the future. It may manifest, it may materialize in what we call the future. But the possibility consciousness that generates it is always in this very present moment. Everybody just breathe that in. So what Dispenza explains to us is how our brain works with the neural synaptivity, that the thoughts that fire together, wire together, which is why we're creatures of habit. The things that we repeat often enough become our belief systems, whether they're actually true or not, which is why your narrative, why your self-talk is so incredibly important. So to get into possibility, you have to suspend. Just everybody catch that out for a moment. You have to suspend between what you think of as the past or the future. Because your future isn't full of possibility if you don't. Your future is just full of a projection of what you have known to be in the past. Okay. Everybody listen to what I'm saying. That most of the time we don't get the sense of possibility because we are taking what we think we already know to be true, for better or for worse, and projecting that into the future. When we come to prayer, that's one of our big spiritual malpractices. We come to prayer with all of our worries. We come to prayer with all of our timetables.
Mm-hmm.
We come to prayer with all of our solutions and trying to convince God to fulfill our will. Okay. Everybody let that sink in for a moment. The purpose of prayer should be to come to disrobe, to take off the armor, to put down all of the agendas and open up to something that you couldn't see, that you couldn't know, that you couldn't predict. Come to prayer in the not know. Okay. So when we do our visionings and our dream boards and all of the rest of that stuff, it is not for the purpose of bringing that into fruition. So we do our dream boards and our visionings, and then we take that to prayer, like our Santa Claus wish list,
Right.
and say, God, now make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
No, you do the visionings, you do the mind maps and all the rest of that stuff to cultivate your consciousness into possibilities beyond what you know. So anything that you come up with is not for the purpose of your manifesting it, it's for the purpose of your beginning to perceive greater possibilities. So don't get attached. Don't get attached to what you can come up with, because what you can come up with is just based upon the information that you know.
Yes.
You don't know about those people around the corner. Okay. You don't know about those resources that God is rushing to you. You don't know about that collaborative partner. You don't know about that extra technology or that resource or all of these things that God's trying to rush to you. Okay. So, contrary to popular belief, possibility isn't about picturing something and having determined will to bring it into fruition. Possibility is about opening up and the willingness to live in the not know. The not know. Yes. Because you are not in control doesn't mean that it is out of control.
Yes, Lord.
That's where the possibility lies, is when you recognize, I don't know, but God knows. And what God sees and what God has and what's there is bigger and greater and grander and simpler and faster and easier and more profitable than anything that I could possibly imagine. Don't hinder the great I am with your expectations.
Ooh, say that again.
Don't hinder the great I am with your expectations. You mentioned my books. In both of the books, they're divided into these 5 huge sections. And one of the sections in Your Deepest Intent is actually entitled Living in the Not Know. Living in the not know. And just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not known. I know I'm preaching at you, but
go for it. This is what's goalful. We need it.
The way that our brains are wired, we actually have like different compartments of our brain. And to a certain extent, it's like it's different brains because they process information differently. They actually live in different time-space dimensions than each other. And at the most basic is our reptilian brain. You know, it's kind of like right here, back in the back. And it's the first thing to react. Okay, it's that fight, flight, freeze. It's not creative. Its job is absolutely survival. When we're living in situations of a lot of stress, we're living there. It is reactionary. It's reactionary. But it can be overridden. Listen to what I'm saying. It can be overridden. You don't have to stay on that automatic default. So all of the spiritual practices, they teach you how to override it. See?
Yes.
They teach you how to be still. They teach you how to control your thoughts. They teach you how to rise above, to be resilient. But it's an override. Okay, like think of it like your computer, that it's going to default to certain things and you have to manually get in there and do an intervention.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that that we have to consciously and deliberately set these interventions into motion. And then when you do it enough time, it becomes a habit. When you do it enough, it becomes like the difference between driving a stick shift, where you're pressing and you're doing, and boom, cruise control.
Cruising.
You do it enough, and the adjustments are happening within you, and you're not breaking it down. But to get to that point, whether you're a dancer or a skater or a baker or anything else, you have to be deliberate in your motions. Bend my knees, be straight, aim here, full release, wax on, wax off.
Yes.
There's a deliberation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get into possibility, you have to be willing to develop the discipline to override your knee-jerk reactions, to project into the future the things that you think you already know.
Which calls for surrender, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just real quick, your mic is rubbing.
Oh, I'm
on
sorry.
your
Is it
forehead a
clicking?
bit. Well, it's just rubbing a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
I don't have headphones. People might be, just a little.
Okay.
I want to go back to what you said. It's like being willing to live in the not know.
Yes.
In the world where growing up, we're groomed to know. And if we don't know, you fail. So we're constantly trying to know. And it gets to a point where what we know becomes an attachment, an identity. So this place in consciousness to open to the not know itself is a spiritual practice. It's a daily practice. So, when I read, I want to go back to this. I know you're ready for me, but I want to say this. When you say your message is about oneness, inclusion, possibility, empowerment, and transformation. Actually, I want to get personal. How did you cultivate the consciousness to live in the not know and trust the not know?
Well, that's a very good question. First off, I want to challenge a little bit your opening assumption. I don't disagree with you that we are trained to put a premium on being in control, but that's just because we're living in colonized societies.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
That's not a human trait. That is a societal paradigm that we live in, because it doesn't trust God and it wants to be God.
Yes.
It's a colonized supremacist way of thinking. Okay? Where it doesn't humble itself to the idea that there's something bigger or greater or smaller. It's the ego mind that wants to be the all of God itself, with all the supremacy and entitlements and all the stuff that comes with that.
Yes.
Okay.
We create a religion based on that mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
A religion, a politic, an economic. Okay, all of it. So then it puts you in an interesting pickle. where nothing is important unless you can control it. But then you're put in the position where you have no control.
I like you. I like the fact that you said you're in a pickle, because there are other ways to say it on the street. You are.
No, really.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like that.
Mhm.
You know, our ancestors come from slavery. So it's this interesting thing. It's like, okay, as a human being, you have no worth or value unless it's over the things that you control. And then as a society, we're going to put you in bondage where you can't control anything. Okay. Which then makes you worthless and nothing. And then you're going to have to depend upon me.
Right.
And nice society.
Because I'm God.
Because I'm God.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So one of the first things that we have to do is decolonize our minds, because that colonization mentality has us not trusting the divine,
Indeed.
not trusting that it is a friendly universe, not trusting that we matter, not trusting that we have a direct connection, not trusting that oneness. So to make it personal is that it was life or death. Because there was no future in the world that people told me was mine.
Oof. Don't say anything yet. Let's let that just that. Woo. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. I just wanted that to land.
That I was already condemned and going to hell for being gay. That my position was already subordinate, being female. That as a Black person, that it's already been divinely ordained that there's a ceiling on my pure just capacity for intelligence or anything else. So my future would have been at the complete mercy of forces unfriendly to me. So when I say it was life or death, it just can't be this.
Right.
This, what you're telling me, are the only options in front of me. It cannot be. You know, these constant messages where you can't be that, like you can't be you, that there's no room in the world for you to be you. Because you're not supposed to exist.
Right.
God never intended for you to be you. That can't be you. Some force has got to be in you. That's got to be the devil overtaking you, you know, that it can't be you. And all I wanted to do was love. That's the irony. I don't want to stab anybody. I don't want to rob anybody. I just wanted the freedom to love. So it's kind of like the woman that grabs the children in the middle of the night from her drunk, abusive partner, and she's out in her stocking feet in the rain. I don't know what else. I may not have a big vision, but I can't stay here.
Right.
Here
Go.
is not an option.
Mm.
So one of the things that's personal is that I have always had a deep connection with the divine. And it's a prophetic connection. You know, these books that you mentioned, they're actually letters. You know, it's called Letters from the Infinite, these downloads that I get. So for me, what would happen is that Spirit would show to me other times and spaces in history where it would have been okay to be me.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So as a social justice activist, the world that I was fighting for wasn't a world that had never been, but it was a world that I already know could be, and we've gotten off track. If you take, just for example, my namesake, which is actually Deborah in Hebrew, Deborah. We say Deborah. Deborah was a badass. Deborah was a prophet. Deborah was a judge in Hebrew culture. Deborah was a general. Her captain was Barak. Deborah was all that in a bag of chips. Well, you know, we say biblical, we just always think of women as being subjugated, but not always so. Just like we think of Black people as being enslaved, but hey, not always so.
Not always so.
And that's just a blip in the history of humanity in the long thing. So part of that living in the not know is the willingness to go beyond what you see. Now, the real trust part, that was long time coming. I can't say that I jumped into that. The possibility that there could be something else, but then the trust that God would do it for me, that was a whole other, that took longer. It's like longer to get through. I had to wade through the devil and the idea of warring gods and something's out there trying to, you know, get me and make my life bad and all. It's like I had to work my way up into that it really is a friendly universe, that there are no warring gods out there, that there's just the one God, and that why not me? That and that's the way I kind of came to it, is that this one God expresses itself through everything, and wants more places that it can express through. And why not me? You know? And it's a constant. You don't just arrive. It's a constant surrender. It's a constant trust. Constant, you know? And Spirit has to keep reminding me, it's not a baton pass. You know, I don't give you the baton back.
Once you pass it over to me,
I don't give it. Yeah, I'm not giving it back. You keep and reminding me that the only way you can get it back is you got to run in front of me.
Which is why we're like, hey, wait, hold on, God, wait a minute.
Wow. And I just want to remind people, you don't need all of the big trust. It's as simple as every day, nearly every day I drive. I live in California, and there's not a lot of good public transportation in the state of California, unfortunately. So when you think about it, it takes a heck of a lot of trust to get in that car every day and to think everybody's going to stay in their little line, their little lane, that
Yep.
that light is green, and I'm going to go through that light, and the people coming on the other side, they're really going to stop. No, I really mean it. You know, it's the whatever that is that makes us feel like, okay, I'm going to chance this. And that's how I grew into trusting. Not this big trust, but okay, I'm going to take a chance.
Yeah.
Little toe in the water. I'm going to do this. I'm like not going to take control. I'm going to pray. I'm going to do and see what happens. Prove me, like it says in scripture.
Yes.
And you can prove God to yourself. And if I'm really personal, if I'm really honest, I can't believe I'm about to be this honest, but it's true. My first real act of trust, I was I was graduating from the MBA program at UCLA, graduate management. And so this must have been 82. And my life was really in a mess. I had been living with a partner, helping her raise her kid. It was like a terrible relationship. And I was seeing at this point, not one, but two other women. So I'm living with a Black woman and I'm messing with a Mexican and an English woman that I had been with for on the side for a while.
That's you. You're about oneness. Love it.
I was monogamously challenged. Okay. I'm in this sexless marriage, messing around with these other two women. All right. My life was, it fell apart. I mean, literally, I was a mess. And that was my point of surrender. It was like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I obviously do not know what I am doing. I had started not formally studying, but like listening to the spiritual, new thought people and the religious science folks. And it was that, okay, God, I am going to put my life in your hand. I am going to surrender. If I'm supposed to be with one of these people, so be it. If I'm supposed to be with nobody, so be it. And here was the big test for me, is that my mother's belief was that if I really surrendered, God would bring me with a man. No, really. That was my first real test. Is that God, if I surrender, I was sharing this with one of my practitioner classes years ago, this moment. And I said, and I'm thinking to myself, God, you know me. Don't bring me no cowboy. What the hell am I going to do with a cowboy? And I heard this little voice in my class go, I'll take him.
I know, that's right.
And I said, see, there's something for everybody. My grandmother said there's a top for every pot. And that was my first real surrender of, okay, God, I am turning it over to you. I am trusting that you know me, not my will, but thine be done. And, everything worked out perfectly. Everybody wound up with somebody.
But you, right?
No,
with you.
No.
But with you is what I mean.
Yeah, I wound up with the Latina. She's the one I did the lawsuit with. We stayed together like 14, 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know
So
that
you actually
I
end up
should.
being with somebody who matched your vision of
Yes.
oneness.
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Yes. We had been friends for like a couple of years. I hate to admit that. Like it's these two couples, and I never said anything. But I
mm.
just knew. It's like we both kind of knew. And
Right.
finally, I just spoke up because I knew that was right order, but I was in this mess with all this other stuff. And it was like, okay, God, I don't know how to straighten this out. I don't know
Mm,
what to do. Now, I don't know what the circumstance is in each and all of your lives. But the point that I'm trying to make is that at some point, you have to admit to yourself, I really don't know what's best. But if you surrender, and this surrender is, how can I put it? The surrendering to the divine will is accepting the fact that my life has meaning or purpose. It wasn't just God, bring me something that's going to make me happy.
right.
It was, I'm giving you my life. I'm
Mm,
giving you my life now. I'm starting this new career in the corporate world. I knew at that particular point in time that I was going to start studying what we call the practitioner training program. It's like lay ministry. I was putting that off until this point, until I
mm,
got my formal academic stuff out the way. What do you want? What would serve you?
mm.
See, that's different than just, okay, I want to have this car and I'm going to surrender whether it's a Mustang or a Cadillac. No, I'm surrendering whether a car is in my future or not.
Oh, public transport.
Period.
Mm, yes.
Because maybe there's some other way you want me to be or show up in the world.
Yes. Mm,
So now
mm,
I know that surrender is I can't lose.
mm, mm.
It's the opposite of what I used to think.
Yes.
If I keep trying to do it my way, there's a chance I will lose.
Yes.
But if I surrender,
Mm,
God always takes me up to where I should belong.
mm, hmm. Yes. Woo. All right, listeners. I know you're there listening. And so share your questions. There is a question here, but I'm maybe you tie it in. Well, yeah, I'm going to put this question up here. Charlie wanted to know. She said, "What are the spiritual tools?" That
Mhm,
was a few, maybe about 20 minutes ago. But I want
mhm.
to, and I'm sure you can tie it all in together.
Yes.
We're talking about possibility consciousness. And we've arrived at surrender.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. And I love where we are. It's better than what I thought. So the process, the act of surrendering, is really a process of dying to the old
Mhm.
and waking up to the unknown, not know. However, it seems like I know that's been part of my story, not always, but we get to that point of surrender when it looks like we've tried everything. We're in a place of struggle. We don't know which spiritual tools to grab hold on to. How do we? So I know you're going to speak to that too, but I don't want to say, is it possible? Okay. Is there a way to allow for surrender on a daily this is not really, you understand what I'm saying. I'm not even saying it right, where it's not like I have to get to a place. I'm like, okay, God, I give it all up. Wake
Yes.
up every day with a sense of surrender.
Yes. It is a practice. Practice makes perfect, so to speak.
Mm.
It's no different than anything else in our life as human beings. If you're out of shape, initially it's going to be, oh God, I got to go to the gym. Oh God, I got to get you're killing
Yeah.
me. 2 more reps, you're killing me. That
Yeah.
Twinkie's calling me. Okay. But
Mm.
every day you do it, it gets a little easier.
Yes.
And then it gets to the point where your body wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Then
It's
it
that
gets to the
brain thing.
then it gets
Yes.
to the point where
Mm-hmm.
if you don't exercise, your body's like, no, we're not going to sit around here and
Yeah.
do video games and Facebook all day.
Right.
We're going to get out, we're going to take a walk, we're going to, if you get the sugars out your body
Mm.
and then you try to eat that Twinkie, your body will reject it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's already built in. We adapt to whatever we repeat.
Mm.
We become the creature of whatever our habit is.
Yes.
So what I'm
Yes.
saying is that you've got to just develop a different habit.
Mm-hmm.
That surrender thing, you don't have to wait till you're all beaten, broke down before you surrender.
Mm.
One of the things I say is that I know I'm going to wind up on my knees anyway. Why don't I start there?
Get ahead of myself. Right.
Drama is
Yes.
optional.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it like this. There's that phrase in 12-step programs about hitting the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
that people haven't hit the bottom enough. They haven't been in enough pain to want to make that turnaround. The bottom is qualitative, not quantitative. There's no magical number or place that's the bottom.
Right.
So let's just say it was like a ladder down into a ditch. Your bottom could be at ring 1, 3, 10, 25. You don't have to go down to the 40th level.
Right.
So what I tell people now, my bottom is just higher.
Mm.
My bottom's high. How low I'm willing to go
Mm.
is a smaller amount. I won't let myself be off for days on end
Mm-hmm.
because I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
your
Yes.
power is your powerful. I am as
Mm-hmm.
powerful off as I
Mm-hmm.
am on. And that's not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Mm.
pretty. Nothing
Mhm.
goes right. And
Mhm.
it's just this, I don't care how justified I think I am or how pissed I am, it's not worth it because
Mhm.
I become miserable. I make everybody miserable. And when I say it doesn't work, I mean it doesn't work. No, really, I'm liable to snag the sweater and, the soup fall on the floor and just it just like every place I turn, drama.
Mhm. Yes.
So you get to
Yes.
decide. And it's as daily practice. gratitude, reciprocity. I don't wait for the day to bring me something to appreciate.
Yes.
First thing in the morning, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Where gratitude is an attitude, not a response. Surrender can be your attitude, not a response. Surrender can be a way of being, just like a praying spirit, where you don't wait till stuff happens. Oh God, and oh me, or firmly. But this praying spirit, so that all throughout the day, you're humming a little something. You could be chopping cotton in the fields, praying with your song. It's a calibration. You hear me say that all the time. We're energetic beings. You want to keep your frequency up.
Yes. Charged up.
So now there's a magic. So now, even though I know I might be going through human angst in that not know, that's just my ego that doesn't know. My spirit knows that God is good all the time. See, my spirit knows that whatever God's cooking up, oh, it's yummy.
And it's all you can eat.
It's yummy. It's like when you go to somebody's house for dinner and you don't know what they're cooking. You don't have to know. So-and-so's cooking and she throws down. Whatever she's cooking, hey, I'm over there. Bubba can barbecue. I don't know what he's cooking, but baby, Bubba's barbecuing. So that's it. It's like, ooh, God's being God today. I don't know what God's got in mind, but give me some popcorn.
It's gonna be good.
Because God shows out.
All the time. All the time. All the time. All the time.
And now I'm happy that I don't know. Yes. I want everybody to hear that. I'm happy that I am not in control. I'm so happy. I think I'd be suicidal if I didn't know that.
I understand.
I don't know how I would get up every day if I really thought everything was up to me. There's a reason why. Do you know what the biggest, the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the profile of the one most likely to commit suicide in the United States?
Well, people were affluent?
Middle-aged, white, heterosexual males.
I think I've heard that before. Are
the most prone to suicide. It really came out when Robin Williams killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's over this stuff that we're talking about. Where you've grown up to believe.
That's it.
That the colonized mind.
That's right. That's right.
My whole worth as a man is being in control and knowing, and and then I get into middle age and it's nothing like I thought that it was, and I'm not in control, and my body's not doing all what it's supposed to do, and I'm not as employable, and it's like all of that other stuff, and people just freak out.
Yes.
People freak out. But you don't have to do all that. Yes. Because you're okay just the way you are. You don't have to change. You don't have to shift. I'm not saying don't grow, but there's no prerequisite. You don't have to become something else before God is blessing you. It's a come as you are party. Come as you are. Just suspend for a moment. You don't have to know, you don't have to figure it out, you don't have to have the answer. Our job is just for a moment to believe there could be one. You don't have to have the answer. Just affirm there could be one.
Right.
Because what we think is, if I don't know the answer, there isn't an answer. That's the problem with the medical community. In Western medicine,
Yes.
when they don't know, they say it can't be done.
Right. Right.
Instead of telling the truth and saying, you know what, we've taken this as far as we can take it.
Yes.
And leave it at that.
Yes.
Not you're gonna die, or you only have 6 months.
Yes.
It's that without our interventions,
yes.
we don't know what else we could do for you.
Right.
Leave it at that.
Yes. Yes.
Leave it at that.
I had to have a conversation with a consultant one time talking to my dad. I'm like, what are you talking about? The solution you're giving him, you were saying it's more than likely will work. But if it doesn't work, then death is the next thing. I sat there for a little while, and then I had to talk to her. And I give her credit. She listened. She said, you're right. I'll be more careful about how I use my words. It's like, how can you tell me that the solution that he has is you're not sure, but it could help. But if he doesn't take your solution, then, he's going to, basically, she was literally saying he was going to die. Ooh, I was like breathing. I was pulling on all my spiritual tools. I was like breathe because I want to communicate the words that I'm feeling in a way that she can hear me. And she said, I'll be, and then from there on, I can see that she was careful about the things that she's saying. And I just think it's wrong that we do that to one another, to do that to people. These people supposedly have authority to pronounce death on another human being. And they talk about do no harm.
Yes.
Woo.
Making it personal, and I'll leave with this story. It's a true story. So my mother has a sister. One of her sisters they were just tighter than tight, like twins. They even rode to work together and team taught the last 20 years of their life. And she had 5 kids. The eldest actually lived with us, like all through high school and college. His name was Tom. And I guess when Tom was about 50, the lawyer, he developed this really bad heart thing. Heart stuff is very prominent in my mother's side of the family. And he was actually coming around and saying goodbyes to people because he was going to go underneath this surgery that was very new. And there were only 3 surgeons in the whole entire country who could perform this surgery. It was taking place at Stanford, which is a little north of where we were in Los Angeles. So as he's doing this and he leaves and his mother's there, I'd known, his mother my whole life. She's like a second mom to me. And she had this look on her face like I've never seen before. And with everything in her, she said, not my baby. Not my baby. I was like, oh. So he has the surgery, and the next call I get from him is this. He says, the surgeon came in and told me that they had good news and bad news for me. And which did I want first? He said, well, give me the bad news. So they said the surgery was a failure. It did absolutely nothing that we thought it would do. And he's like, well, what's the good news?
Right?
And they said, you have the heart now of a 30-year-old. And this is what the surgeon said. There is absolutely no explanation for this.
Mm,
other than this is a miracle.
mm.
And he spent the next 2 years on tour around to medical institutions around the country so that they could study him.
Mm.
It didn't work.
Mm.
But not only did he not die,
Hmm.
his heart came out 20 years ahead.
Renewed. He was
Renewed.
renewed because
Okay.
she made that declaration.
Yes. This is what I'm talking about. Possibility.
Yes.
Now, how do you know? Who knew? And I thought it was very interesting because 30 is known to be like that really high frequency
Mm.
vibration. Yes, that there's something about that age and like that particular frequency. Not 25, 35, but like 30. So this is that where you suspend. You don't
Yes.
get into all the facts that you think that you know. It's not, oh God, make this surgery successful. It wasn't successful.
Right. Right.
And if it had
Yes.
been successful, maybe he wouldn't have the heart of the 30-year-old.
Mm, 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 mm.
So you just open up wide. I'm healthy, I'm whole.
Yes.
My heart is in perfect condition. My family is reconciled. My life is sustainable. We're financially secure. Our democracy works.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We have a civilization that works.
It's declaring what is true.
And God works out the rest.
That's it. We just need to get in alignment. Rev D,
All right.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Thank you,
love and
everybody.
appreciate you.
Love you too, my brother.
See you next month. Wow. Next
right.
year.
Next
Actually,
year.
see you next year. Peace and blessings.
All right. Take care.
Woo, this thing called life. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. May you find the courage. May you cultivate the consciousness to surrender to so much more. And you don't have to know. You don't have to know. You know, one of the things that we had time that I would have asked, I almost said Dr. Barbara here. Ooh, Dr. Barbara must be in the house. Dr. Barbara King, my spiritual teacher. Because a new thought in metaphysics, we always talk about you have all the answers you need within you. You have all the answers you need within you. And it is true. It is true. But sometimes because we hear that over and over, I know that was my story. I felt like I didn't have to act. Not knowing it means I didn't trust myself. See, as I was saying earlier, I'd love some of the things that Rev D said as if we've had the conversation before the show. But no, the part of you that the you that doesn't know, it's your human self, is your ego self. And when we surrender to the not know, I can tell you how today has gone for me. Now I'll say this and I'll release this conversation. Today in the shower, I started the show talking about in the shower, an idea that came to me earlier. Now I'm going to end the show talking about in the shower. In the shower, woo, if you really want to catch some unknowns, the not knows, get yourself in the shower. I was making a declaration and I was really just saying, I said, I am choosing to align with my inner self, my inner being, to know what my inner being knows right now. I said, inner being, I need you. I want to see you. I want to feel you. I want to feel you today. I want to know that I know that we are one. There were some other things that I said that I don't remember right now. And today has just been so magical. In many ways, I use one example, how that played out. But there's so many things that I thought I didn't have that I found on my old computer. I'm working on my taxes, and there were statements that I needed that I had to call the company up, and they saying they have to call a third party because they only have available right now only up to 6 months. So if I go back, I can go back to June 2021, but after that, they have to send an email to another company, and I need those statements right now. I mean, like, really, just trust me when I tell you that. I can't even go into details. I need them right now. And this morning, even before I did the prayer, Spirit said, look at your other computer. I went in my other computer, I pulled it up, and the statements that I was waiting for that they said can take up to 28 days, I had. It was already in there. I pulled it up and sent it to my accountant. But the part that I really want to tell you, because that was just like, okay, I see you, I feel you, I know that I'm in alignment. I just got a new phone. Lots of stories around that too. They told me there's going to be a headphones with the phone. It's a Samsung S21. They said I was going to get a free watch. I was all excited. The phone got here yesterday. There was no headphones. I heard that they don't come with headphones anymore, but I thought maybe because it was a special deal on Cyber Monday. So it's come with the headphones. I called yesterday. They said, it doesn't come with the headphones, I have to go buy another one. I didn't want to argue. It didn't have a charger. So they sent a charger. So I said to them, I said, listen, you're charging me already, but I can't use the phone. They end up sending the charger. They said they would send the charger at it's like 25 pounds. And then, they would just send that to me for free. There was supposed to be a SIM card in the pack. This is the part that I really want to emphasize. And when they sent the phone, there was no SIM card. And so I spoke to the lady, and she was like, we're going to send another one. It'll be there tomorrow. We'll send it with the charger. When the charger came today, there was no SIM card. But I really wasn't tripping. I just thought, okay, somehow, this is the part that I knew it was me proving what I know, what is true. Somehow it led to the package that came yesterday. I was actually going to throw it away. And beyond my conscious mind, I looked in there, and there was this little envelope with the SIM card that I didn't see yesterday or didn't even see in there. I don't even know why I didn't fall out because I had the thing upside down. There were several things that happened like that. Because what would have happened is I would have got the phone if the SIM card wasn't there or just mysteriously appear. I would now have to wait another day in order to move the content to another phone. Those simple things was enough for me to say, yes, you're revealing yourself to me. There are other things that happened today. So I'm not telling you what you don't know. I know I am not telling you what you don't know. And I'm reminding some of you, I'm amplifying for some of you. And some of you are like, really? Or some of you might even be saying, what's the big deal about that? Maybe. But the thing is, if you want to know God, the divine source energy, you got to test it. You got to prove it to yourself. To yourself. That you know that God is real, not some man with beard, white, supporting more white people and looking down on black people and punishing black people because for bullshit. But understand that God is so much more than your mind could conceptualize. And when God created itself as you, God said, this is good. And you're good. And you're good. Pocket Learner, thank you for being here. Andrea, I'm going to have to investigate that name. We are the place where God is revealing, reflecting, expressing a unique story for humanity. You get to decide how much of that uniqueness, how much of that story, how much of that greatness is expressed through you by choosing to play small or being willing to not know. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. I strongly recommend that whatever you got from this show today, whether you were there from the beginning or you just got 5 minutes, put it into practice. Put it into practice. Convince yourself. My brother Jesse, thank you for being here. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Jesse's on IG, for those of you on Facebook and YouTube saying, who's he talking to? Thank you for the work you're doing. There's a story about you, but I got to wrap this up, that you were part of my healing in such a way that you, one day I may have shared it with you before, like 2 years ago. You came doing the song at Agape's Revelation. I said I wasn't going to tell the story right now. And you sang after Reverend Will Coleman. Oh my God, you sang Amazing Grace. And you took, thank you for being part of my healing. We're here for something greater, and we're living that greatness right now. Dr. Naeem Akbar, thank you. Thank you. When I see you and I see your name, my heart smiles. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am so full. I am so grateful. Thank you for the space you've created, everyone. Thank you for being part of this conversation, because we are changing the world as we change ourselves. That's the only thing that needs to change, because when you change, the way you see the world will be different. The way you show up in the world will be different. Oh, don't get me started. I'm high again. Let me wrap it up. I love you. My website, lifecoachade.com. Sign up on my mailing list. If you want to take your aha moment and drop deep down in consciousness, need some support, coaching, spiritual consultation, lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com. I'll see you on, what date is that? The third Tuesday, finale of this season. That's December 21st. I'm so looking forward to it. And whatever you're moving through, whatever you're growing, I bless you. I bless it, and I affirm the good. Trust God, trust the process. Peace and blessings.
Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah. When we unite. Yeah, yeah. Welcome here, love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome